Hi guys, it's Teresa. Welcome back to my channel. So every few months I like to do one of these recommendations videos where I tell you guys some books that I think are best read during that season. And now that we are in the midst of a very burning, boiling, terribly hot summer, I think, you know, it's time for some summer reads. So if you're looking for something to read at the beach or in your garden or just like sipping some iced coffee or eating some watermelon, these are the books for you. Let's get into it. The first book I wanted to recommend is a YA contemporary, and that is Tiny Pretty Things by Sona, Charaipotra and Dhonielle Clayton. It's the first book in a duology about ballet, and I know this isn't everybody's thing, but I personally get really into ballet books again during the summer, and I am actually contemplating rereading this soon, so you know, maybe I'll actually listen to my own advice this time. This book follows a group of young girls that are all in like a very prestigious ballet school, and they're competing for roles, and there's a lot of cat fighting and like pettiness and issues and all that good stuff, and it's very entertaining. Definitely not realistic at all, but a whole lot of fun. It does talk a little bit about eating issues and stuff like that, so if you're not comfortable reading those type of topics, probably shouldn't read this one. But for me personally, I really find it very enjoyable and very fun, and it's just like a guilty pleasure type read, honestly. So I recommend this for, you know, just like mindless summer reading. For a little bit more class, I really recommend reading some books by Georgette here in the summertime. I recently just discovered her and instantly fell in love. I read 4 of her books in the span of about 7 days. I was absolutely obsessed and still am, and I genuinely think that her books are like crack cocaine. Like once you read one, you want to read all of them, and immediately. Her books were written from like, I think the 1920s to the 1970s or so, and they're all mostly set in the Regency era in England, so in the early 1800s. They're all historical romances, and they're incredibly well researched. There's a lot of historical detail, and it's super, super fun to read them because they're also just hilarious, extremely well written. They're so witty and genuinely laugh out loud funny that you will honestly probably draw a bunch of confused glances if you like start laughing out loud at the beach, but I promise you it's worth the public embarrassment. The books are phenomenal. She has also written some mysteries, but the ones I've read so far have all been romances, so they're all very cute, and the women tend to be very self-possessed, almost like feminist women that know what they want and kind of astonish the men by being so self-assured and so full of self-confidence and all that good stuff. The romances, I would say, are all a bit demure and subdued. There's not a lot of steaminess to them, but they're still very romantic and cute, and I genuinely loved every single one of them. So far, I've read The Grand Sophy, Frederica, Arabella, and Venetia, and my favorites have been The Grand Sophy and Venetia, with Frederica on 3rd and Arabella on 4th place. So that is basically the extent of my experience with her books so far, but I recommend all of them wholeheartedly, and if you have not yet checked them out, highly recommended. And especially now in the summertime, I think her books will honestly change your life. Sticking with some romance, I'm gonna recommend to you The Djinn Falls in Love and Other Short Stories, edited by Mahvesh, Murad and Shurin. This is a short story collection all around Djinn or genie, and basically love stories surrounding them. This is a mixed bag. There's a ton of different stories in this book. Some of them I really enjoyed, others not so much, but I think overall it's definitely really a good book to pick up in the summertime, again, because you can just like read 1 or 2 short stories while you're at the beach and like grab a minute to like dive into a fantasy world and read some romance. I think it's a great read for the summertime. I actually read this last year during the summer, and that's why I probably also have like a strong connection in my mind between this and the summertime. I think it's definitely very well suited, and if you're at all interested in reading books about Djinn or romances or both, I highly recommend it. Second to last, another book I think would be great to read right now is Daisy Jones and the Six by Jenkins Reid. This is a 2019 release that has been very hyped. I understand, and I think to a large degree that is definitely deserved. The book, as you might know, follows a fictional 1970s band from their creation to their inevitable dissolution, and all the interpersonal relationships, the infighting, the like glamorous life and like the not so glamorous side. So all of that I think is very well done. It's written in interview format, which is definitely very different, and it's also quite a quick read. So again, I think a great book to pick up during the summertime. I've also heard from many people that the audiobook for this is amazing, so you might also like listen to it on the road, like while you're going on holiday or on a plane or something like that. Again, I think this book is perfect to pick up right now, and I personally gave it 4.5 stars, so I really enjoyed it and I hope you do too. And lastly, because I don't want to do all contemporary romance type books, I also would recommend picking up Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This is a dystopian sci-fi fantasy type series that I also read last year during the warmer months, and I really enjoyed it. I've talked about this a lot. You can watch my video on the series if you haven't already. It's definitely starts off a little bit generic, but it becomes this really epic story that has a lot of scope and involves a lot of political intricacies. There's also romance. It's just a whole lot of fun. It doesn't require a lot of thinking either. While it's not, I wouldn't say super mindless, it's definitely on the lighter and easier reading side. So again, best suited for the months where you kind of just want to turn off your brain a little bit, or where your brain doesn't work that well in the first place because it's literally being boiled inside your skull by 40 degrees in the shade, as we've had some days here. So if you haven't checked this out yet, I highly recommend it, and I think now would be a good time to binge read as much of the series as is already out. I think so far we have 5 books or so, with the 6th coming very soon, so you know there's plenty of stuff to go through if you haven't started yet, and in that case, do it, because you're missing out on a great series. But that is it for all of my summer reading recommendations and the top 5 books that you should be reading this summer. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave in the comments some other book recommendations that you think are very well suited to be read in the summertime. And while you're down there, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I try to upload 2 to 3 times a week, so you don't want to miss out on that. And I hope to see you very soon with another video. Until then, have a lovely week. Bye!